Hello, and welcome to the Partner Sales Authorization for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. This is for 2020. You are listening to this enablement and taking sales authorization either because you're a new partner getting their sales authorization for the very first time, or you may be a returning partner who have been sales authorized in the past and you're taking the 2020 updates as part of the Stay Current. We welcome you both and hope you enjoy and learn and take away a lot of good information from the sales authorization content that we provide this year. This is part one in terms of the sales authorization enablement, where we cover off the topics of SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, an overview, and we also cover considerations specifically for partners. Part two will go into a more in-depth overview for the extended edition of SAP S4HANA Cloud, and also will go into more detail on other aspects of go-to-market. Let's take a look at the objectives for this session. The purpose of this enablement is to provide you with an executive summary and perhaps a recap for some of the detailed enablement that you may have taken or that you will be taking as part of your initial sales authorization or a reauthorization as part of the Stay Current annual requirement. And we also provide additional commentary for partner consideration. We'll look at the positioning of SAP S4HANA Cloud. We'll take a look at a summary level of the Digital Discovery Assistant, a tool that you'll be using in your sales cycle this year. A detailed session is also part of the SAP enablement and sales authorization as part of the cross-topic requirements. We'll look at the key characteristics as SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition and when private cloud managed by SAP or S4HANA on HEC is appropriate for your customer. We'll look at some pricing considerations that as partners you'll be interested to learn, and how you can upsize your deal to provide a more comprehensive solution for your customers. We'll also take a look at sales plays, the sales process, and other considerations that are important for partners. We'll look at implementation and release cycles and the roles and responsibilities of what you or your customer would do and the role that SAP plays. The messaging for 2020 for SAP S4HANA is that we have a single SAP S4HANA solution. It's one data model, one semantic layer, one user experience. The messaging we would like you to ensure you share with your customers and prospects is that SAP S4HANA has flexibility of consumption of the solution. So as a customer, you can consume the product, SAP S4HANA, in the cloud in a 100% SaaS solution, or as a product as an on-premise or any premise on any and deploy on any infrastructure. As you go from the right to the left, and we're looking at it as a product to as a service, there's a higher degree of standardization as you move from the right to the left. And then if we take a look at the degree of flexibility and things it can do for extensibility and modeling and so on and so forth, there is a higher degree of flexibility when you move from the left when SAP S4HANA is offered as a service, then over to the right when you offer SAP S4HANA as a product. The key message here is we don't want to talk about our different options or flavors. We're not differentiating anymore between what was known as multi-tenant or single-tenant edition last year. The products and solutions have actually been rebranded, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So where in the past, we tended to explain all of the different options in excruciatingly detail. And the feedback we got from analysts and customers has been clear. It's been very confusing. And our competitors also don't go into this level of detail. So this year, we really want to simplify our message in terms of one SAP S4HANA solution. And now we talk about the business value versus going into technical discussions in terms of the different deployment options. So we'll learn a little bit more about this in this session and in some of the more detailed sessions that you'll be taking. Here, if we were going to peel the onion a little bit further and wanted to show a little bit more detail in terms of what's different, this is now the representation we'd like to use. We don't want to go into any more detail in terms of explaining the differences between editions, multi-tenant, single-tenant, extended edition, essentials edition, etc. We don't want to differentiate, but rather we provide options. So for example, when we take a look at the line upgrades, we provide anywhere between 2 and 4 upgrades per year, which are managed by SAP. Now, as a partner, you would know that Extended Edition is 2 times a year. For Essentials Edition, it's 4 times a year. But externally, when we're talking about S4HANA Cloud, we want to provide a full range of options as we indicate here. This way, we don't confuse our customers and we don't confuse anybody else out there in the marketplace. So when we take a look at SAP S4HANA Cloud in particular, so as a service, how do we really determine the correct cloud solution that we have on offer? Let's go into this in a little bit more detail. Beginning in 2020, there'll be an additional step in your sales cycles. For SAP S4HANA Cloud, we have a deal qualification process. So where we offer one SAP S4HANA Cloud strategy, we require a more detailed and structured deal qualification process so that we can lead you to offer the right edition of SAP S4HANA Cloud. What we want to take a look at or the detailed discovery with fit to standard approach, you determine the detailed scope and deal closure, timeframes, etc. Understand the customer industry and their use case. So does the customer, what kind of cloud mindset does the customer have? Are they looking for a greenfield or a conversion? What kind of industries are they in and do they play in? What countries do they do business in? What is the business scope overall? What kind of integrations to other solutions are they looking for? And what kinds of processes are they looking to optimize? And so when we take a look at all of these 4 elements, this is part now of what's called the Digital Discovery Assessment Tool. We have a specific session, whether you've taken it already or not, but there is a more detailed session where we go and go into the details and we show you a demo of the Digital Discovery Assessment Tool. At the outcome, we'll help you determine the best S4HANA Cloud approach, whether it's the Essentials Edition or the Extended Edition. The SAP S4HANA Cloud Digital Discovery Assessment Tool, or the DDA, starts with release 2002 and guides to the correct edition of SAP S4HANA Cloud, whether it be the Essentials Edition or the Extended Edition. This helps you document the business scope, the governance mindset, the cloud mindset of your customer. It's designed for use by SAP sales and pre-sales, partners and global services partners, and even by the customer directly. It will be a mandatory step in your sales process. My recommendation is to work with your AE, your industry AE early and get your opportunity set up early. And then as you begin to do your requirements analysis with your customer and you go into the business scope requirements, your governance mindset in terms of how often they can have the appetite to upgrade, what is their cloud mindset, etc. You'll then be able to go back and work with the SAP sales team through the digital discovery assessment and then help determine the right addition to propose to your customer early. The benefits here is that you eliminate confusion in talking about either the Essentials Edition or the Extended Edition, formerly multi-tenant or single-tenant, cloud SAP S4HANA Cloud solutions with your customers. In the end of the day, you will be talking to your customer about one S4HANA Cloud solution because you'll be proposing either the Essentials Edition or the Extended Edition, but not both. The benefits include higher customer satisfaction, higher success in implementations, a referenceable customer at the end of the day, and subscription renewals and upsells during the time frame of the subscription. The details and a demonstration of the DDA tool is provided as part of your sales authorization training, but it's really easy. It's basically a step-by-step process where you fill in the details. It asks you the industry that the customer is in. It asks you what kind of business scope you're looking for, what kind of governance and the willingness to customers to have SAP manage the solution for them, or do they need a little bit more flexibility in determining their upgrades? And any additional information that is provided will help guide you through the selection of identifying the correct addition to propose to your customer for SAP S4HANA Cloud. Here, for example, is step 2 in the detailed discovery based on an automated industry guidance. So the tool will actually take you step by step in terms of the industry, and then it'll determine at the end of it whether you should be looking to propose Essentials Edition or Extended Edition based on business capabilities and industry that your customer is looking to deploy. And really to summarize, although there is now an extra step in the sales process for you, it doesn't take very long. The tool is very easy to use, and at the end of the day, we see that you'll have higher customer satisfaction, more successful implementations because you're deploying the right SAP S4HANA Cloud deployment option. You'll have a referenceable customer and a better chance to get your subscription renewed and a better opportunity to upsell and add more components to the customer's deployment. As a partner, you'll want access to the Digital Discovery Assessment tool. So make sure you register via the front-end portal. Here is the site location. Just take the link and copy it into a browser. Then if you have your SID as your partner, you log in to the right side of the dialog that opens. If you don't have an SID or a PID, just register yourself as a first step. Then once you register, you'll not need to do it again in future opportunities. Because you're a partner taking the sales authorization, you'll have used your SID to access the sales authorization, so you already should have your SID. Next, you send an email to the email address here, notifying them that you've registered and you ask for approval. Identify yourself as a partner and that you're working on XYZ opportunity and you're a qualified and authorized reseller. Next, once approved, you'll receive a notification email and will be instructed to use Google Chrome to log into the system. Other browsers seem to have usability issues with the Discovery tool. You can log onto the tool, and you'll only see opportunity details if you have first either created or been assigned to an engagement within the tool. Consequently, the initial opportunity list will likely be empty. So again, the first time you'll be using it, it will be empty. But as you work with your sales team and you have opportunities in the system, you'll see your list there. Let's now take a look at the key characteristics for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. First of all, let's note that it has the full scope ERP. So it has the full functional S4HANA scope of core ERP and includes the extended line of business and industry processes supporting 25 industries. It's available in 64 country region versions in 39 languages. It includes model company and best practice baseline packages included. Check with the Q2 price list where the model company for international corporation is included in the base price. In terms of installation characteristics, new installations only are permitted. So this is a greenfield deployment. There is data and config migration permitted, and you need to take a look at SDT, selective data transmission or transportation, using SAP services for this component. There is no system copy permitted for new installations. Anything that comes in terms of extensibility, including any partner extensions and add-ons, need to come in via transports or via Saint. Let's take a look at extensibility. You have access to the S4HANA Extensibility Framework. Side-by-side extensions via SCP. This is very much encouraged, especially as you consider your partner add-ons or extensions. There is restricted expert configuration possibilities in IMG, and SAP code must remain unchanged. There is an extensibility guide posted to Partner Edge. Please have a look at the extensibility guide as you consider extensions for your customer's deployment, and as you also look at your own partner extensions and add-ons. I'll provide the link here, and you can just click and go to that page. Next, we look at upgrades. We offer, with Extended Edition, 2 upgrades per year. And SAP will create an upgrade plan with the customer, and if you're working with your customer, with you as well. Here we expand a little bit further on SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition and Full Scope ERP. This is the official product map of the S4HANA suite, comprising of different sections. All solution areas reflect the official SAP go-to-market terminology, which is further documented in the SAP Solution Explorer, but also in the SAP Feature Scope description. In the middle, we have SAP S4HANA Enterprise Management, which is the core for Extended Edition. On top of this, you're able to add line of business solutions across sales and marketing, finance, manufacturing, and supply chain, service, asset management, R&D and engineering, and sourcing and procurement, and human resources. As well, we have industry-specific add-on solutions. I would recommend you take a look at the price book. It's updated quarterly, and we're adding new material numbers for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, including more line of business solutions and more industry solution capabilities. And here we see a more expanded page on the location coverage, covering 42 country regions versions, as well as in 39 languages. And these are listed here. This diagram provides a representation of the SAP Cloud Application Services offering for SAP S4HANA. It's a scope of services definition by deployment model. On the left-hand side, we have a complete solution as a service. So this would represent the private cloud and SAP HEC, where everything is unbundled and the client would choose and you would be priced out for every single component individually and customized. Then we take a look at SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition in the middle, and we take a look at the services that are provided. So this option provides the S4HANA software, the cloud infrastructure, all of the cloud technical services right up to the application level, and additional numbers of proactive EMS services, which includes once-off setup services as well as recurring services to ensure system health, such as applying of security notes, recommendations from early watch reports, and pre- and post-upgrade activities. And SAP Cloud Application Services completes the coverage with EMS, excluding those mentioned proactive EMS services, which are already come with SAP S4HANA Extended Edition. There's an SLA-based application operation and support for proactive services and continuous solution improvement. Then when we take a look at the S4HANA Cloud Essentials Edition, this option provides the S4HANA software, the cloud infrastructure, all cloud technical services, as well as cloud application services to provide a complete software as a solution cloud solution. SAP Cloud Application Services or implementation services, something that normally a partner would provide when you're working with a customer, then completes the coverage with an SLA-based application operation and support relating to customer-specific announcements outside of the core cloud scope, service and change management, as well as system event management, including safeguarding of integration, proactive services with specifically test management and execution, and continuous solution improvement with specific focus in business improvement and release update acceleration and optimization. This comes from the services catalog, and it's for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition and Managed Services. On the left side, you see all of the S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition cloud services that are available. Then we see what's included, as well as what is optioned for your customer. So take a few moments to review the information and details on this slide. Let's go into a little bit of detail in terms of the components making up the package for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. When you look at this diagram, everything is included. We have one price and one contract. It includes a license subscription price, including enterprise support. It includes all of the cloud infrastructure and services, and it includes proactive managed services. And this is what you get when you license SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition Enterprise Management, for example. In addition, we can add to this. You can add implementation services, onboarding services, customer enhancements, etc. All material numbers offered for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition can be found on the indirect price list. Again, this price list is updated quarterly, and we encourage you to take a look at the updates every quarter. This can be found in the pricing section on Partner Edge. I get a lot of questions in terms of pricing for SAP S4HANA Cloud for Enterprise Management Extended Edition. So let me provide some helpful hints and pricing guidelines for you as a partner who will be working with an industry AE to help configure the bill of material and provide pricing for your customers. I ask also that you refer to the price book for specific material numbers, as they do change from time to time as we rebrand or make tweaks for how we price our solutions. One thing to keep note for SAP S4HANA Cloud for both the Essentials Edition and the Extended Edition is the concept of a full user equivalent. We sell enterprise management in blocks of full user equivalents users as a monthly subscription fee. Let's take a look at some of the tiers in more detail. We have 6 tiers ranging from extra extra small all the way up to extra large. For the extra extra small, we start at the lowest bound or entry at 50 full user equivalents. The upper bound for the tier 1 is 150. Then we see what is provided in terms of infrastructure. We have a system tier for prod and QA, and then we also have a system tier for dev. And we provide what is provided to the customer in gigabytes of RAM. Then we look at tier 2, it goes from 151 to 500, tier 3, 501 to 1000, and you can see that the system tier goes up, it doubles. Now you can always upsize your system tiers as you wish at additional cost. This is all up to the customer for whether they require this additional infrastructure. Note that for tier 1 or the extra small tier, that there's no QA provided. So it's a two-tier environment with prod and dev. The rest all include prod, QA, and dev environments. Next, let's take a look at what's included with enterprise management. First, you have the enterprise management user licenses. You get your support as well. Next, enterprise management also includes 50 units of group reporting and 24 transactions of advanced compliance reporting. You get the SAP Cloud connector, which is installed on a separate server, and it's available on customer request. So please be sure to request this if this is needed. You also get the SAP Data Services Agent included as well. It's also installed on a separate server, so it's available on customer request. You get the SAP Web Dispatcher, which is installed on a separate server. SAP Fiori Embedded is installed on the SAP system only. Next, the integration server with connectors to enable S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition connection to certain other SAP Cloud services that were subscribed by the customer. And again, I've already mentioned that there is no QA system with Tier 1 or the extra small environment. Let's take a look at how we calculate what your full user equivalent would be. You need to do this before you get to your pricing because you have to have that number. So a full user equivalent allows for full usage equivalent as a kind of a flexible user type and can be used for all three user types within SAP S4HANA. So you've got your developer access, your advanced user access, your core use access, and your self-service use access. The different user types are then translated into an FUE or full user equivalent. So we take a look at the cloud use types. For every developer access, it counts as 0.5 FUEs. For an advanced user, it accounts 1. For a core use user, it's 5 to 1. And for cloud self-service users, it's 30 to 1. So here's an example where we use the full user equivalents for different user types. So here in this example, the customer has 40 advanced use, 75 core use, and 270 self-service use. We then use the calculator to calculate how many full user equivalents each of these are, and then we add them up. In this case, we have 64 full user equivalents. This is what we take back, and this is what we price out. Note that there is a minimum. Customers must license a minimum of 50 full user equivalents. Ramp deals are permitted, but there are rules around this, so just please work with your industry AE for the details and requirements. So you can start with less than 50, as long as the average is 50 over the term of the subscription. Check price lists for updates on minimum requirements, which may change from time to time. And I add this because there is a change contemplated for Q2 of 2020, where we're hoping to get approval for a lower minimum entry of below 50 full user equivalents. So please check with the Q2 price updates for what may be coming. Our customers love the concept of a full user equivalent model. This is because they do benefit from this as their business changes. A full user equivalent can be seen as flexible users, and customers can reallocate their users to avoid shelfware during their life cycle. So, for example, we have an allocation of how the users have been deployed. And then, based on business changes, we've reallocated those users between advanced, core, and self-user users differently. This is allowed as long as you stay within the maximum number of full user equivalents that has been licensed. If you're taking the sales authorization and or stay current within the first half of the year 2020, this will be net new information. If you're taking the sales authorization training towards the end of 2020, you're probably aware of some of these changes that had occurred or is occurring in the April 2020 Q2 price list update. And these are things to watch for or to go back and review. For SAP S4HANA Cloud Enterprise Management, there is a revision because there's new material codes are required due to legal framework updates and changes. There also has been a rebranding or renaming via single tenant edition, now extended edition, and multi-tenant edition, now essentials edition, and the naming convention. We've also added an additional tier, which is the XXL size. And the minimum block size, which we're working on and hopefully will be approved for the Q2 price list update, is that it'll go down to 35 full user equivalents, down from the current 50 full user equivalents that we see in Q1 of 2020. The reason for the change is that naming convention changes have to align with the remaining portfolio. We also need to distinguish legal framework updates from prior versions. New material codes are required for the two digital core cloud enterprise management offerings. Namely, for Extended Edition, we now offer and require two mandatory upgrades and the changed responsibilities of customers and SAP as part of this. There's a specific Extended Edition role and responsibilities document that goes with the contracts. There's also changes to the SLAs and downtimes. HANA memory size specifications are more flexible, and 10 hours of EMS are now mandatory. For the Essentials Edition, entitlement for customer data instead of HANA memory size specification is the change there. In terms of pricing highlights, once again, there'll be an additional 7th tier required for the extra large size for both Essentials and Extended Editions. The minimum block size is lowered to 35, pending final approval. So please check the price list and the pricing guide updates on the portal under pricing. All other material codes that have enterprise management as a prerequisite, they also need to be updated accordingly. So you will see a change in some of the material codes in the price book when you compare Q1 2020 and Q2 2020 and beyond. The impact on existing customers is this. At renewal or replacement, customers can migrate to the new material codes with the updated legal framework. Let's now take a look at the additional modules in the technical area that you can add to your base for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. First off, as I had mentioned earlier, you can add cloud memory extensions. We allow and sell this in blocks of 256 gigabytes per month. So you can add system size even for smaller use numbers and therefore scale the system independently. They must be added in appropriate numbers to reach the next configuration. And it will affect the entire system landscape, not just the database size. Also, you can add disaster recovery. It's a flat fee per month. Adding a 4th tier in a separate location within a 100-kilometer distance. It provides data replication with a delay time of 30 minutes. This increases data safety for catastrophic events and ensures business continuity. Next, you can add an additional tier. It can be added to S4HANA packages with its own system infrastructure for the same price. Different tiers and system configurations are available. This is for non-productive use only. You might have a training tier if that is something that you might like to look at, or a secondary um, development tier for perhaps partner add-ons and extensions that you might be bringing into your customer's environment. Next, we have customer evaluation systems. These are sold in blocks of 256 gigabytes per month. It provides enterprise management without release upgrades or a productive tenant. So only dev and Q are included. The initial contract time of 6 months is provided, but it can be renewed. The system can be taken over then in a productive extended edition environment. Then lastly, we have Fiori Hub. It's a flat fee per month. It adds separate Fiori systems, different tiers are available, and it's an optional use instead of the embedded Fiori. The material numbers for all of these can be found in the indirect price book. And again, please work with your industry AE to add these to your deal. Another element to add to your S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition deal is digital access. We sell this in blocks of 1,000 documents as a monthly subscription fee. Here we see the tiers that we provide, and I also provide a link to an external help page for further details. The material number can be found in the indirect price book. In terms of digital access for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, there's 9 document types that cover most valued outcomes from SAP ERP. I list these 9 documents here, the document items, and any remarks. Please feel free to pause this presentation and enablement to review the details on this page. SAP Solution Manager for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition is also available. We have the project documentation version and the full version. And then we also provide prerequisites and any additional notes. You'll see these notes also in the price book. So scroll all the way over to the right-hand side to see which notes are pertinent and then go to the notes section of the price book. I quickly provide here a comparison with the project documentation version versus that of the full version. Again, take time to review this page, pause this enablement session, and take a look at the details. Let's take a look at Model Company and SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition and the release of some of the model companies for the Extended Edition offering in 2020. So here are some general guidelines and information and validation requests to take with you. First off, general information. Only model companies can be deployed into the Extended Edition landscapes, which already have all of the necessary components packaged and available in the Extended Edition portfolio. This includes things like the license and landscape, etc. So for direct import into the Extended Edition environment, released for model company for multinational corporations, it's already included in the standard subscription or the standard packaged solution for enterprise management. For import to a sandbox tier, released with restrictions only for model companies with a simple landscape considered with further restrictions, which will be provided, information of which will be provided to you. And a fallback alternative offers separate sandbox tiers as HEC Cloud Start contracts. This is if you need these other model companies. For validation requests, for any request of an SAP model company deployment to SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, the services, model company sales, and DCC sales HEC CAA, so the sales team need to align on the scope and license requirements. The HEC Cloud Architect will then trigger an extended edition validation request, which is an internal ticket, and then for each customer case during scoping of the offer, and then you would get approval before any landscape finalization or approval process. So simply stated, just work with your sales team and they'll engage with the services and model company sales team to work with you to see what is possible and what might not be possible at this point in time. Here's an option for a direct setup of a productive landscape using Model Company Master using the SAP Model Company for multinational corporation. We talk about this because Model Company for multinational corporation is included with a subscription license fee for enterprise management for extended edition. This includes the content in a master system, configuration, and deployment to productive landscape. There may be some services that might be required, so please work with the cloud architects and the team to determine what DBS services might also be required. One of the things I did want to bring up at this point, especially if you're a partner that has been selling SAP S4HANA Cloud single tenant last year, and you're continuing to sell SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition this year, and you're simply renewing your sales authorization status. You may have been selling S4HANA as part of a single tenant edition deal, or you may have sold S4HANA on a custom HEC deal, or S4HANA on a SAP's private cloud on SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud. We've had more and more SAP HEC deals when we didn't have as many packages put together for SAP S4HANA Cloud Single Tenant Edition in the past. And as a result, there were BOM editions and custom configured deals put together. Now that we've covered 95% of all of the requirements that we've seen by customers who want to license SAP S4HANA Cloud Single Tenant Edition and now called SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, there really is no need to deploy S4HANA on SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud. However, there may still be those few use cases, and this is what I want to go over here. First of all, we want you to consider that it's SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition is your de facto if this is the result out of the DDA tool. These are for customers looking for a full core ERP plus any industry and or line of business add-ons such as finance, cash management, or risk solution like access control or retail solutions, etc., which are on the price list. Customers are also looking for cloud qualities such as standardization, subscription pricing, and proactive services included. There may be instances where you might take a look at HANA Enterprise Cloud and put S4HANA on that deployment. The reasons being are as follows. The customers need source code modifications. There's no way around it. I don't see very much of this anymore. The customers already own S4HANA on-prem licenses, and they would like to bring these licenses to cloud. This is where we add the HEC infrastructure and all of the services around it, and we provide S4HANA in a BYOL model in HANA Enterprise Cloud. Customers require functionality that are not included in the S4HANA Cloud extended portfolio on the price list, so that if you see that it's not included nor it's not on the 2020 roadmap, and the customer absolutely needs that solution, that S4 solution, and it's approved for HEC, you may consider putting S4 on HANA Enterprise Cloud. Customers also needing to do a system copy or you want a brownfield implementation. This is not even recommended. However, if this is what the customer is insisting, then this is your deployment option. Finally, you're a partner with an ABAP embedded add-on, or you have complex extensions that are not approved by the HEC team, or they have not been certified for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, then you would consider putting S4HANA on HANA Enterprise Cloud, and then you can include all of your ABAP add-ons and extensions or packages that have not been approved by SAP. Let's now take a look at how partners can monetize their business with SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. Here's how partners can build your incremental revenue streams. First off, as a system integrator or services partner, or a reseller who's doing the implementation work for your customers or with your customers, you can leverage the same solution consultants as you have for your S4HANA on-prem practice. There's no additional major upskilling, there's no major time away for enablement, and there's minimal additional cost perhaps for certification, such as getting certified in Activate for SAP S4HANA Cloud. You also want to learn and have your consultants learn about Activate and the 5 golden rules for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. One of the courses or components of your sales authorization is we do go into a very detailed S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition Activate session. Next, in terms of implementing, you're able to adapt your implementation services to a standardized portfolio and provide fast time to value, change management integration, and services with any upsells or cross-sell opportunities that you do. And of course, looking to convert your ECC customer base to S4HANA. And next, the functional application management services, your implementation, so you can provide your AMS portfolio. As a value-added reseller, we offer 2 programs, the Cloud Choice Profit and the Partner Edge Sell program. As part of the enablement that you have taken, you've learned about the Cloud Choice Profit and Partner Edge resell. So if you're selling via Cloud Choice Profit model, you get a 20% commission every year for the initial contract and a 15% commission paid annually on renewals. You must be sales authorized. The deal is done on SAP paper, but you as a partner manage the selling and pre-sales process. In terms of the Partner Edge sell or discount model resell, the partners with a Partner Edge contract are eligible with sales authorization. This is where a discount is applied to the pricing. SAP provides the pricing to you, and then you as a partner set the price to your customer. Next, you're able to leverage your pre-sales tool. You can reuse your Demo 21 environment and the demo landscapes that are available for Essentials Edition. And you can grow your cloud business, not just with the initial contract and renewals, but you also have upsell and cross-sell opportunities to grow your deal over time. And next, we take a look at partner extensions and add-ons. Here, we're going to take a look at qualifying or certifying your partner extensions and any add-ons that you have that you want to deploy to SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. In addition, any SOLEX that's on the SAP price list and any ISV packages that are certified for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, it provides an upsell opportunity. And also, additional line of business and industry packages can be added to your deal anytime through the subscription or at the time of renewal. So lots of ways to make money as you work with SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. Let's now take a look at the sales plays for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. The most important one is the Move program. You'll have learned about Move from SAP ECC solutions to S4HANA as you are an experienced S4HANA partner. Here we take a look at the target audience for this sales play. These are customers that have no S4HANA. They're an SAP ERP customer. And you're looking at commercial and public sector accounts. The characteristics are these customers have an outdated ERP, which will eventually run out of maintenance, although we have extended maintenance for many years to come. Customers want and have a cloud strategy, and they have an innovative spirit. Here we see some drivers by your customers looking to move. They may have some business innovation processes that they're undergoing. They now have a cloud strategy. They want simplification in their IT organization. There's pressure to reduce cost and cost of ownership. They're coming up to an ending maintenance, and they have no massive upfront investments due to subscription models in place. It's attractive to all of our customers. The solution portfolio includes S4HANA Cloud, but also all of these other optional solutions, including analytics, SuccessFactors, Ariba, Concur, and Fieldglasses. I also provide resources here with many links, and I encourage you to take a look at all of the assets that are available and the links to either Partner Edge or help or sap.com as it relates to the MOVE program. In looking at 2020 go-to-market and SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition sales plays, here are some of the target segments that you would be looking at. First of all, as I'd indicated on the previous slide when we looked at the MOVE program, we look at the ERP install base. We want to move key accounts and large enterprise and upper GB accounts with having those customers having a cloud mindset and having an existing ERP system into a future-proof cloud solution. This way, they also gain access to the latest innovations that we have on offer. Net new names. This is where I see a lot of business coming and selecting SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. We'd like to see you help convert non-SAP customers to the Extended Edition and focus on industries that are outside of the Essentials Edition sweet spots, especially industries listed as priorities, such as consumer products and retail, for example. We look at the SAP S4HANA installed base, where you might position a two-tier solution for large enterprise accounts, where you have Extended Edition as an option for any of their smaller subsidiaries or any acquisitions that they may be making. Next, we have Cloud Line of Business Solutions installed base. So let's convert customers that don't have an SAP ERP system to SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended. Focus on pre-built integration packages and an end-to-end process. So let's take a look at the Concur install base, the SuccessFactor install base, etc. Let's see what they're using as their ERP and talk to these customers to see if they're interested in moving to a more innovative ERP solution with SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. One thing that we have posted recently is the brand new SAP S4HANA Cloud Partner Playbook. It can be found on Partner Edge, and I have provided a link here. It contains comprehensive information about SAP S4HANA Cloud, and it goes into details and nuances for SAP S4HANA Cloud Essentials Edition and SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. There's lots of content and plenty of pages of content here. However, you don't need to read it end to end, page by page. If you have a burning issue or question on delivery or on a sales process or on building your partner extensions or your add-ons, you can go directly to that section and go into very much detail in those areas of the Partner Playbook. The Partner Playbook also provides many links to other areas where you can get more resources. This is a great guide, and I encourage to download this playbook. It's in PDF format, it's easy to use, and it's available now. So I hope I provided a bit of an overview for you as a partner getting started or renewing your sales authorization for S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. Now you're ready to start. You're ready to work with our sales team and in getting involved in a sales process. So here we have a simple flow chart that is in place for the first half, more or less, of 2020. We'll be updating this overview with any changes that come into play as the year goes on. So for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, we have an interim process. Partners would work with the industry AE to get your pricing. So then you would work with your AE, who then works with their extended sales support team, the CAA or the cloud architect, which is the pre-sales person, and any sales support. And at the end of the day, you would end up getting what you need in terms of quoting to your customer. I won't go into detail in this yellow box, but please take a moment to read and review the process. And in fact, maybe take a screenshot and save this, or download the PDF and refer to this when you need to start working with SAP to get your first deal going. That simple overview and flow on the previous slide translates into this chart. It's very meaty, and this is what the SAP internal team uses. In addition, each of these rows has a link to documentation, to contracts, to add-ons, to addendums, etc. that need to be included as part of an approval process and as part of the contracting process. You'll be working with the industry AE, and they'll help you get all of these things pulled together. So they'll make the sales process as easy as possible. My only advice is to start early. Don't ask for pricing 2 weeks before the end of a quarter. If you have an opportunity, get in early. Get that opportunity set up. Work through the DDA tool. Start getting your bill of material built and your pricing created. If you start early, you'll have plenty of time and a less stressful quarter in closing your deals. Now that you've closed your deal and you're ready to start working on an implementation and rollout with your customer, we have 3 different partner implementation strategies. We go into a lot more detail on this topic in the partner add-ons and extensions section of this sales authorization enablement. But here I wanted to provide a high level for you. The first approach on the left is where you use SAP best practices or model companies that are localized for the required country or countries. During the implementation, the partner will then perform all the required config and customizations, which you see here in yellow, which is the customer-specific configuration. And you're adding the model company on top of SAP S4HANA. Then we have on the right-hand side an ad hoc customer implementation without using any SAP best practice or prepackaged content, i.e. model companies. This is not recommended for GB customers because your implementation process will be longer and more costly for your customer. So you're not optimizing what is available. In the middle, we see the use of partner content and IP to address the common requirements in the industry or sector of reference. Content can be built on top of SAP best practices or model company, and you can see this in green. There are different types of content with either qualification or certification required for your partner content. See the detailed enablement session on this topic for more information. And then on top, we see additional customer-specific configurations. This is a great approach as you work with your customers to implement. And I highlight here your SAP qualified or certified partner package solutions. This will lower the TCO and provide a faster time to value for your customer. Here we see an overview of the various types of partner extensions and add-ons that we see, and how you as a partner would like to take these extensions and incorporate them into your customer's S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition environment. So we have a detailed session on this topic, and we'll go into way more detail to provide you the enablement that you need. But from an overview perspective, there are four major types of add-ons. They range from IMG content, configuration only with a type 1, a type 2 or ad hoc extensions, part of possibly a qualified partner package solution that you deliver via transports, type 2B, which is an implementation partner's ABAP add-on or an embedded add-on, typically installed via Saint. Then you have your side-by-side extensions. Possibly they might have embedded ABAP connectors to enable cloud integration, and they must also follow the same rules and any mandatory certification requirements that we have for these other types. And then type 4, where we have solution extensions, which are on the SAP price list, and type 4B, which are third-party ISV vendors, which are not on the SAP price list. Based on your partner package, which might be a simple extension or a more complex ABAP add-on or package, we'll be working with you to either qualify or certify your solution. There'll be an application form that you'll be filling out. This will go to an email address that will be provided once this is set up, and then you'll be getting some communication to direct you to a qualification process or a certification process. This process is not in place as of April 2020, but we're working on having this in place towards the end of the first half of 2020. Here we see the planned process for where we take your solution, whether it's a simple extension or a more complex ABAP add-on, and we take you through the application process, and then from there, we'll direct you into a certification process or a qualification process. We then determine whether your application meets the requirements as laid out in the extensibility guide, plus some additional qualification and technical checklists that we'll ask you to use against your add-on or extension. If you're successful, then you'll be able to bring those extensions or add-ons into an extended edition environment. If not, they will not be qualified or certified, and you will not be able to use and bring them into S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. Keep in mind that we do want to try and keep and remain in the forefront, that we want to have cloud-like qualities. Then, in addition, we'll be working with you, especially if you've got an ABAP add-on or a more complex package, to see how we can migrate your package to a side-by-side solution scenario. Because this is the optimal approach, and this is the direction that we're asking all of our partners to work towards with their extensions and add-ons. Until this process is live, which we're hoping by the end of the first half of 2020. For the types 2B and 4B solutions, we're not going to be accepting them into an extended edition environment. For all others, which are type 1, which are small extensions and small add-ons, what we ask is you submit and work with your cloud architect to submit a ticket. This will trigger a quick review to determine that indeed you're following the rules of the extensibility guide, and also it is a small extension or add-on and will not require a detailed certification process. If it's approved, then that extension will be permitted into the extended edition environment. I do encourage you to do this early. So if you're working with a customer early on in a sales process, my recommendation is to work with the industry AE or commercial salesperson and have an opportunity opened up. Even if it is at an early sales stage, you'll want to use the digital assistant to qualify that this deal is an extended edition deal. And then also at the same time, you can work with the CAA or cloud architect to get a ticket submitted so that your add-on or extension can be reviewed as early as possible. Then you'll know what status your add-on or extension is, and then you can make plans for either a certification or you can make plans to transport that add-on and extension when you have your contract closed, and you can position your extension and add-on with your customer early on in the sales cycle, which differentiates your solution against the competition. Please take a few moments to review the details on this slide. I know it's busy, but it explains really what we're trying to accomplish in terms of making sure that all external add-ons, extensions are good to go for a project. Here we look at the cloud release cycle for SAP S4HANA Cloud. This is an internal and partner view. We do have an external facing slide that describes the upgrade cycle and release cycle, and this is part of the customer facing presentation deck. This deck can be found on Partner Edge on the S4HANA Cloud page. Here we see the current release for SAP S4HANA Cloud, both Essentials and Extended Edition. We have Feature Pack 1 and Feature Pack 2. For Extended Edition, you can see here in February and then later on in the spring for both Essentials and Extended. And then in 2021, we have SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended 2102. What it does, it takes the SAP S4HANA 2020 release, FPS1 Feature Pack Stack release. So we do mimic and copy the on-premise schedule, but we do provide 2 releases per year, and here we see the cycle. Customers must stay on current releases. So this means a customer must stay current and must at least do a major release every 2 years. This is a more simplistic version of the previous slide. This is the external slide in terms of what is part of the customer-facing presentation deck in terms of our SAP S4HANA Cloud release cycle. So you can see the Essentials Edition release cycle on the top and the Extended Edition release cycle below. And then you see the dates in terms of what and how and when we're releasing software over the next year or so. And then the same occurs going into the future. Let's now take a look at the changes to the upgrade schedule for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. So now we have up to 2 upgrades per year. Formerly, and in previous years, we offered up to 4 upgrades per year. So now we've got a standardized 2 upgrades per year. Customers can work with SAP to determine the time frame when they want to take an upgrade or if they want to skip one. There is a mandatory upgrade, however, every 2 years. So once every 2 years, a customer must upgrade, and that's as of April of that year. The details and the fine print can be shown with the little item 5 in the fine print. So please take some time to review the details therein. In addition, the service level agreements for cloud services can be found on sap.com, and I've provided a link here on this page. Now, in terms of the upgrade schedule, one other thing to keep in mind is that we want to take into consideration any version dependency of different packages. So SAP will create a customer individual plan for the upgrades based on the bill of material that the customer has purchased. Another question that we receive from partners is, what are the various roles and responsibilities between SAP and the customer/partner for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition? This is important to understand as you begin to create statements of work and define the scope of work for your customers, as they will want to know what the cost of the implementation services are going to be. Because we're talking about S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition, SAP takes care of a lot of the things that you would, as a partner, had to take care of or work with your customer in an on-premise deployment. So there's a lot less to do on the technical and infrastructure side of the house that you won't have to do anymore, and that should be reflected in a lower total cost of ownership and a lower statement of work, scope, and cost to your customer. So here we see understanding SAP's role. And in a nutshell, operations as well as technical installation and some basic technical configuration steps of the landscape are done. Besides of the initial installation activities, the included operation tasks are based on ITIL service management standards. Some are recurring, many are automated or semi-automated, and are projectable. Not included tasks include things like typical basis consultant tasks in an implementation project, like transport concept, spool, and printing concept, etc., and any non-projectable activities. These are non-recurring things that might happen in an implementation or after a customer goes live. There is a detailed document, and I've provided links on the bottom of the page where you can find the details for the roles and responsibility documents associated either with a custom HEC deal or with an extended edition deal. You can also see the landing page. A link has also been provided to check for any newer versions of the documentation that might be available. But here we see an excerpt of the relevant roles and responsibility documents. On the left, we see the overview of the tasks performed by SAP, whether it's by HEC or the Cloud Application Services team. And on the right side, we see an overview of the tasks that are performed by the customer or with you as the partner implementing with the customer the extended edition solution. Please take some time to review the details for each of the roles, tasks that have been outlined on this page. And please do take into account the tasks that are being done by SAP as you create your statement of work and your scope and cost estimates for your customers, which should be way lower than an on-premise implementation. Well, we're almost done. I hope you got a lot of information out of this session. Now let's summarize. I've come up with 6 reasons, and I'm sure you can come up with several more as you add the value add components as a partner to your customer. But here are 6 reasons to go for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. We provide rich functionality and industry coverage with the solution. There's also a high degree of extensibility. We provide full integration, flexible upgrade schedules, the addition of best practice content and model company, customer evaluation systems, while still benefiting from all of the cloud qualities: speed, predictability, a lower cost of ownership, continuous innovation, and simple, reliable, and safe infrastructure and environment. I hope you add your own additional reasons for your customers to go for SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition. And just add your circle here. This slide is also part of the customer-facing presentation deck, which I have loaded onto Partner Edge. Please be sure to add your value add and additional reasons on that slide. Throughout this enablement, I have provided links where you can go get additional information. Here we have a summary slide where you can get some additional information. Where to get information for service, engaging in terms of the help portal, where you can get information on Activate for Extended Edition and the 5 Golden Rules, where to find the Best Practice Explorer, Transformation Navigator, the Roadmap Viewer, and a trial. Thanks again for your attention to Part 1 of SAP S4HANA Cloud Extended Edition Overview and Partner Considerations. Now, I would recommend you start Part 2 and take a look at some of the additional details that we haven't covered and is pertinent for 2020. Thanks again and have a great day.